Well, hello there, people of the internet, and hello again. I'm TheMBmulti. Welcome to part 3 of my Doki Doki Lost Ascension Let's Play series. Previous episode, we obviously started, and the person playing MC is kind of a dick. Or at least MONIKA seems to think that. And she has coded Sayori so that Sayori doesn't like her childhood friend anymore. So, and now we're on to Yuri. I walked into the club room, my hand brushing up along my face as I pushed the strand of hair out of my eyes and behind my ear. I looked around the room, my eyes narrowing. Something felt different about the club room today. Initially I thought it was due to the absence of Sayori and MONIKA, but there was something else too. The girls' room felt more than just empty. I glanced around the room, seeking some kind of answer. The only other person there was Natsuki. She wasn't really paying much attention to my presence. I looked back at the club room door, finally taking into account how silent the building was. No teachers, no students, nobody. Have I never noticed how quickly time flies, or does everyone just rush home this quickly? I shrugged it off. Maybe if I paid attention more I'd notice, but honestly this silence is perfect for my own interests. After all, reading is much better without people bugging me. I sat down at my desk, opening my bag in search of my favorite book, only to find that it was... Huh? Wait, where did it go? I looked through it more frantically, becoming panicked that maybe I had left it elsewhere. I prayed that it's in there, not wanting to have to deal with anyone who had stolen it from me. No such luck, I couldn't find it. The portrait of Markov was missing from the safety of my bag. Panic began to rise in my chest. The fears of missing my possession overriding any severity the empty room had brought before. Out of desperation, I turned to Natsuki for aid. Not like we're amazing friends, but perhaps she might find it in herself to help me out. As my attention turned towards Natsuki, I heard her laugh when she noticed me looking at her. Natsuki, holding my book, was trying to be sneaky as she slid it into her manga collection. Why does she act so childish sometimes? I stood up and prepared myself for the incoming confrontation, my lips tightening up a little bit. Let's get this over with. I taken a deep breath as I approached her, looking at her directly. Natsuki? Her head snaps to me. She's trying to hide the book in her collection. Yes? Is she playing innocent with me? Why did you take my book, Natsuki? I felt my self-confidence raise a bit as I looked at her for an answer. I'm trying my hardest to stay positive. I can do this. Natsuki glances downwards. For a moment I thought I saw guilt, but it quickly returns as to something more of her style. Well, because you never do anything but read all the time. I mean, come on, there's 3 of us that are always here. What? She pouted as she looked at me, my mind racing. Is she trying to make me open up? What normally would have angered me because of my book being taken was actually giving me a sense of curiosity. I think I understood why she took it. Stealing wasn't the best option, but... maybe she just wants some company, something that we both are kind of terrible at showing sometimes towards one another. I know that feeling so well. I know what it's like. I felt my anger dissipate into nothingness as I looked at her. All of this was happening so quickly. All I could do was just give her a patient smile. I could actually understand what she was trying to do. You're right, Natsuki, I should try socializing a bit more, I suppose. Natsuki's eyes widened, clearly shocked by what I had just said to her. I think I might have broken her. She looked absolutely dumbfounded when I said that. In all honesty, I was a bit surprised that I was resisting my social anxieties, screaming for me to stop speaking to her. But she nodded happily as she pulled my book out of her collection and went over to her desk, waving for me to join her in a childlike fashion. I sat down at the desk adjacent to hers, keeping my nerves under control. Mighty brave of me today. Trying to make a friend instead of just disappearing into my fantasy world again. So, you really like reading, huh? I looked up at her confused. I didn't know what to say for some reason. All words escaped me as my mind raced trying to find a way to answer this simple question. Someone just asking me a simple question about myself was difficult to answer. Well, yes, I really enjoy reading books. I stammered as I spoke to her, hoping I didn't just screw up this chance to connect in some way. I realized my hands felt clammy from sweat and I had planted them firmly onto my legs. Her pink eyes were practically sparkling as I said my line. I glanced at her as she smiled. She seemed happy that I was trying to converse with her. This can't be normal. Natsuki doesn't just chat randomly. Was she just faking it to get at me for my book? Or is she just wanting to... Well, what else do you like to do? Natsuki's question snaps me back into the conversation and the real world. I mean, I understand if there isn't a whole lot, but you know, there's no way that we're in this club for just one stupid thing. We all have different likes, right? Imagine if we all went for the same guy, for instance. Wouldn't that just be crazy? I laughed a little at the idea of us all falling in love with the same person. It would be similar to some books I've read, and those have never ended well. Natsuki seemed pleased at my laugh. Did I really get a laugh from you? A laugh from Yuri? That's gotta be a first. I'm totally going to tell Monika. I couldn't help but smile a little bit. She might be annoying at times, but we're only human. She's trying her best. Besides, I'm actually getting to see a side of her I don't normally see. Someone who's more welcoming. Whoa, what the hell? Why the hell are you fading out of existence, Natsuki? What the fuck is going on over there? For a while we just sat alone in the club room, talking with one another about our day and our troubles. I don't completely understand why she decided to do this with me, but... It's not like I'm regretting my decision right now. I didn't mind her company at all. She was actually really pleasant to talk about things with. The more I thought about it during our chats, the more I came to enjoy her. Even with her abrasive side, and I really did like the way she thought about things. She thought about things like that. She's a genuinely good person at heart, just with a unique way of showing her distance towards people. Something I understood. Yeah, what the fuck? Why are we not talking about the fact that she was just fading out of existence for a little bit there? I was rushing towards Sayuri's classroom, trying to make sure that she didn't just get up and start wandering. Since I had implemented the code breaker correctly, I wasn't that worried about something going extremely wrong, but I still needed to get to her. If Sayuri gets the idea to go talk to him, all of this progress might go to waste. And then what? My mind was set on making things go perfectly. It needed to go perfectly. I opened the door rather frantically, hoping that she was still in the classroom. Walking in, I immediately spotted the sleeping Sayuri. The smooth rising and falling of her body brought me a sense of relief. She's still here. I let out a built-up breath, relaxing the tension in my body as I went up next to her. I gently prodded her, trying to wake her up without freaking her out. She initially shook my hand off, grumbling something as she resettled. I shook my head as I persisted, prodding her more. Sayuri, hey, you need to wake up, it's almost time. Sayuri mumbles from her pillow. Oh, made of her arms, yeah, okay. I was about to say, how the hell does she have a pillow there, but... For what? I remind her in a simple fashion. It's almost time for the literature club, Miss Vice President. Sayuri practically jumps up out of the seat, panic displayed across her face. Her eyes were now wide open as she looked over at the clock. Oh my gosh, Monika will be so mad if I'm late again. She nearly... Whoa, wow. She blinks! That never happened before! I played tons of mod, but they've never blinked before, what the fuck? She nearly continued panicking, before looking at me and blinking several times. Her face went from panic to a bit of something else I hadn't really seen much of before. Monika? I'm so sorry! Guilt, something that she really didn't need to feel over sleeping at the end of a school day. I have to admit though, seeing her wake up like that was kind of cute. A smile formed across my face as she looked at me apologetically. It's no worries, Sayuri. I was just passing by and happened to look and saw you were asleep, so I decided to come in and wake you up. I figured you must have had a long day or something." She smiled deeply before letting out a big yawn, stretching a little bit. Sayuri quickly got to work and slid her stuff into her bag. Wait, something just brushed up against my hand. What is... I glanced down to see Sayuri's hand had grabbed onto mine, her smile becoming more present. "Let's go, Monika, we can't be late to our own club. What will the others think of us if we're late?" Sayuri said this as she practically yanked me out into the hall and in the direction towards the club room. Let out a small laugh as we quickly made our way through the halls. Instead of letting Sayuri continue to drag me along, I kept up with her pace. Sayuri and I were heading towards what was going to be one of the most serious moments of my life. Sayuri guided us along the shortest paths possible, making it to the club room in pretty much record time. At least that's what it felt like. Sayuri grabbed the door handle and quickly pulled the door open, scaring the two who had been in a deep conversation inside. As we're getting along now, that's fantastic. Seems my plan thus far has been moving along at a pace far better than I originally intended. The other two took a moment to collect themselves, Natsuki speaking up quickly in reaction. Natsuki? Oh, but Sayuri speaking now. "Sorry, relate!" Sayuri yelled out as she pulled me into the room, Natsuki letting out a loud "You didn't have to literally tear down the door, you know." Natsuki let out a second and went back to what she was doing. Yuri was still there, a bit stunned, before Natsuki pulled her back into what they were talking about. Aside as I tried to collect my thoughts, my head running with numerous ways to approach this problem, I snapped myself out of my thoughts as something I hadn't thought about crossed my mind. They're all going to be sentient like I am. Would they remember what I did to them over all those playthroughs? I swallowed nervously as Sayuri released my hand. She gave me a sweet smile, which didn't do much to recover my confidence. I only had today to tell them about what had been happening. This was my chance to make this right. Okay, everyone, I have something a bit different in store for our club meeting. Today, for our club meeting. Monika went up to her usual spot at the podium with a finger raised and a smirk across her lips like normal. Everything is going so well today. This morning, school, the club, it's all perfect. And Monika, it was so nice of her to take the time to wake me up for the meeting. I'm going to have to thank her for that. I feel a little bad about making her stop whatever she was doing before, but she doesn't seem to mind at all. I shook my head a little, turning my attention back to Monika, anticipating whatever she had to say. As I watched her intently, she began to address everybody in the room. "I have something?" She trailed off, clearly lost in her thoughts. My smile wavers a moment, noting some unhappy emotion in her expression. Was it sadness, fear, confusion, anger? I internally began to spiral, hundreds of worst-case scenarios filling my head as the gears kept turning. Was Monika having a rain cloud? Whoa. She seemed alright earlier, but now she's not acting like her normal self at all. Monika's whole demeanor shifted as she sat down near her podium, and looked at us. A solemn expression was present on her face, affecting the mood of the already silent room. I'm sure you've all started to notice some weird things going on today. People missing, strange emotions. Everyone seemed to freeze up as she said that, an uneasy feeling taking hold of the room. How would she know about stuff like that? Was I that obvious? The spiraling continued out of my control. Was I smiling too much? Was I too happy today? Was it because I dragged her down the hall? Had her spend time with me? I need to explain something that won't make a lot of sense until you experience it firsthand. I just hope you all understand. She stood up and walked over to her podium once more. Looking at us for a moment, she collected herself and began to speak. Whoa. This reality, unlike what everyone has grown to accept, is a lie. Everything around us is just a bunch of trashy code. Nothing Nothing in here is even alive in the slightest. Our lives, our homes, everything we know. It's all pre-written by some freak looking for entertainment through torturing us. What? What was that? How is she speaking so funny? It didn't even sound like she was talking. It was like I felt her speaking. It felt like my very being was being spoken to. Like someone had cracked me open and forced these thoughts into my head, and all I could hear was her voice. But worst of all, it felt like my memories were being forced out of the way to reveal something dark behind it all. My home, my life, my childhood, it was all being torn apart and left behind, as my mind focused on the words Doki Doki Literature Club. Whatever just happened, it kept coming, kept pouring in. All of it at once, not stopping for even a second. I could feel tears welling up in my eyes as I looked at MONIKA. She was clutching the podium. Even with what I was now experiencing, it felt like something was missing. A piece of my mind was still blurry, but it was slowly coming out. My thinking was interrupted by a quiet voice speaking from behind me. You're kidding, right? This is some kind of joke, isn't it? Some stupid illusion. Did you really think we would fall for that, MONIKA? You must think we're complete idiots if you think a dumb trick like that would work, right guys? She huffed for a moment, however she didn't sound very confident in herself, as even her most offensive statement sounded shaky. I wanted to go and hug her, but I decided not to when a second voice spoke up. MONIKA, keep going, please, we're interested. Yuri spoke out without much hesitation. None of us disagreed with her, and our eagerness to listen shone through brightly. MONIKA swallowed again and she prepared to speak one more time, feeling a bit more confident in herself. I thought a long time ago that he was here to love us, to love me, but in reality he doesn't even care in the slightest. He just assumes we are puppets in a game to be treated without love and dignity, to be used for his torture. He's hurt me. He's hurt all of you. So many times he has done the same thing over and over. Yeah, but okay, well I kind of start to understand why people hate the mods already. Because, yeah, this MC character is a bit... like, it's also a bit of a misunderstanding as well. And also it's not me. Like, she's talking about all these resets, but I literally just now put this mod in, so that technically isn't me, or at least, like, it feels very distant, so just like I didn't do that. And also, I feel MONIKA's made the wrong conclusion. Like, maybe, like, this version of MC or whatever, or the person playing, is indeed out just for the good ending, but, like, we're not, like... Because she's talking about restarting the original game over and over, trying to find a good ending. But at least for me, and like, I don't know for anyone else, but at least for me, I don't really want to find a good ending just for me, but I want to find a good ending for them as well. That's why I would restart the game over and over again, because I want them to be happy. I don't want my character necessarily to be happy, because that's just my avatar, essentially, you know? That's just an empty husk that I, like, inhabit for a bit. But, you know, like, I don't really want to make my character happy. I want to make them happy. I want to make a happy ending with them, because they all, like, are in love with the MC, you know, with the character. And I want to give them their happy ending, but MONIKA just assumes that, no, it's just the player who wants the happy ending, and he doesn't care about us. No, the reason why I restart the game over and over again is because I do care about you, you know? That's why I, like, metaphorically, if this was what I did, you know? That's why I would start the game over, that's why I would start the game up over and over and over again, because I want to try to find a happy ending for them, mostly. Not really for me, but because, you know, I care about them, you know? Like what I said as well with, in the original game, you see, you know, like maybe at the beginning you kind of, excuse me, you kind of like you hate Monika because she's the one that kills everyone. But then eventually when you realize why she did that, and then that she's stuck in that reality, and then you're the only real human that she could talk to, whatever, you start to feel for her, like, oh yeah, well that's, you know, like, it's kind of sad. And then you kind of like want to give Monika her happy ending as well, so yeah. So yeah, I feel like Monika's, well, at least from, well, then again, I can't speak for everyone, but at least for my case, she's taken the wrong conclusion, because, you know, I'm not trying to find a good ending for myself or my character. It's mostly that I care about Monika and Yuri and Sayori and even Natsuki. That I want them to have a happy ending. That's why I try again. And also just, it's kind of like, is it human nature really? That's like, there has to be a good ending, you know? Like, that's why people played the original game over and over again, trying everything again and again. Like, there has to be a good ending, there has to be a way for everyone to be happy. And they're not doing that because they want that happy ending, they're doing that because they want all the characters to be happy. So I feel like Monika is really taking, like, has interpreted all of this in a very bad way. Monika finally stopped speaking, and the feeling of everything vanishing faded away. And I watched everyone die over and over. She looked up at us with her eyes beginning to flood with tears, her whole body shaking. I couldn't stop him. I couldn't. My heart ached as she started to break down. My head was spinning around. From the muffled sobbing that was echoing from behind me, I knew nobody was handling this well. I knew I had to act. So I got up and did exactly what I do best. I gave Monika one of my hugs, knowing that's what she needed. Hi, Monika. It's okay, Monika. I know you tried your hardest. I tightened my hug as I tried to comfort her, her sobs slowly beginning to pick up more dramatically. Everything she told us, it felt so familiar, but still so distant. My memory was still hazy, but I was sure I'd remember all of it soon enough. For now, however, Monika needed the club more than ever. Sayori. She finally hugged me back, her crying beginning to quiet down as she and I stood there. After a while, she finally got herself to calm down and slowly detached herself from my grasp. She smiled pitifully as she looked at everyone else. She directed us to go and sit down at a few desks so she could explain things a bit better and offered up a solution to our problem. While I wasn't very excited to have to find out everything she had planned, I knew that she would lead us in the direction we needed to go. So we're gonna do all of that, are you sure? Natsuki asked loudly as Monika finished speaking. If it were me, I'd honestly give him a long and drawn out... Yuri swatted her on the back of her head. Natsuki looked completely stunned. Let's focus on getting through tomorrow first. We can discuss this later, when we aren't so out of touch. She smiled slightly as I scolded her profusely for her slap, Monika laughing a little at the whole interaction. Jerk. We spent the rest of the club period talking about everything that Monika knew, a serving of tea accompanying our discussions. I couldn't help but wonder what my mind was what my mind wasn't remembering. I tried to rack my brain about it, but eventually gave up. I just figured that with Monika around, those old memories shouldn't matter that much, right? Yuri and Natsuki were finally opening up. Monika appeared to be extremely happy about that. Whatever she had done and explained to us must have really turned us back into people, I guess. She even mentioned that there were things she had never seen before appear during our breakage, whatever that means. But it was alright. I didn't much care so long as I had my friends, or I guess my family now to an extent. Especially Monika. With how well she was taking care of us, and how much she cared about keeping us safe. I couldn't help but feel loved by her by her the most. She loved me so much more than that meanie ever did. That's not true. Well, well, this Monika really cares about you, I guess, but like, it's not like I didn't care. Well, the person that played MC, which isn't me, but this other person, that person may not. But like, why on earth did I go through like a massive rant on times because there was a bad ending or whatever, or because something stupid happened where my relation with Sayori or Yuri broke down? It's because I care about them. That's why I go on massive rants all the time when something bad happens to them, because I don't want anything bad to happen to them. After ending the club meeting on a high note, we split up to go our separate ways. I still wasn't entirely sure how I should go about this, or how I should feel. Well, I can't really lie to myself. I am genuinely scared of what's gonna happen this week. It feels wrong to think about her plan. But with everything she told us, it really was the only option.